What's a cinematic masterpiece that you avoid watching with your partner? Based on You the Damned 234's recent question. Question. What's a cinematic masterpiece that you avoid watching with your partner? For me it's Gladiator. Those final scenes bring me to tears and I just don't think a woman would understand. Tombstone. My wife grew up in Tucson and she likes to point out all the inaccuracies of the movie. No date night is complete without the 308-minute version of Das Boot. I have watched Kiki's Delivery Service with people who just don't get it or aren't into it. It's just a comfort movie for me and it's fucking phenomenal. Anything involving war, planes or oil rigs. She is a wonderful, patient woman. But I don't need to see her eyes roll into the back of her head out of sheer boredom. Fortunately, we have kids, 2 of whom are sons. And they love war movies. And disaster movies. And every New Year's Eve, one of the movies from the Die Hard franchise. And they are almost old enough to have a beer with me. For me it's Gladiator. Those final scenes bring me to tears and I just don't think a woman would understand. My wife likes Gladiator. And she understands. She also likes Fury and Saving Private Ryan and The Last Samurai. She loves the art of cinema as much as I do. That being said, she has no love for Zack Snyder, so we can't be the ones who watch The Watchmen. Pacific Rim. My fiancé would just be like WTF and I'm like, no dude. You gotta understand. My wife has a great taste in movies. We watch all kinds of stuff together: Korean thrillers, indie dramas, weird experimental stuff, animated movies, whatever seems interesting. I avoid dad movies and sibling movies because they hit me pretty hard emotionally. And I don't want her to see that. Lol. We watched About Time and she kept asking if I was okay. She made me sit through The Wedding Planner so nothing is off the table. Why would a woman not understand? I have no time to explain Snatch to anyone that refuses to shut up and watch the damn movie. Heat. 'Cause it's 3 hours long and there is no way on earth we would finish it after we. Those final scenes bring me to tears and I just don't think a woman would understand. I don't understand either. What's wrong with you? Requiem for a Dream. Saving Private Ryan. Why the heck wouldn't a woman understand the end of Gladiator? Could you please clarify the women not understanding part? Have you had negative reactions from women before when you cried? If so, I'm so sorry to hear that. For what it's worth, I cry all the time in movies. And my wife is very supportive. Not that I need to justify my emotions to her, of course. But having someone who holds space for you as a thinking, feeling person is incredibly affirming. Man. You are corny as hell. You think women can't understand Gladiator? Faced with rolling eyes, I've often found that women are much more willing to watch male-centric films than the other way around. You sound very ignorant or like you just don't know many women. That's a stupid generalization. Touch some grass and talk to women and don't just assume. There are movies I will always prefer to watch alone, like 2001: A Space Odyssey or Blade Runner. Sometimes I don't want to pay attention to anything else and just get lost in a movie completely. I don't think I could be with someone I had to avoid watching certain things with. That doesn't sound healthy, as I'm essentially hiding a part of myself from her. The Shawshank Redemption. The Fountain. I avoided watching the first Pokémon movie with my fiancé for a few years. The Pikachu scene gets me every time, lol. I don't know if my partner would like No Country for Old Men, Field of Dreams, or anything with any kind of sci-fi basis. Debbie does Dallas. Find a woman that will watch The Godfather Parts 1 and 2 in a single sitting. My ex-wife laughed at me when I teared up during Marley and Me. Definitely Marley and Me. I'm not about it being a cinematic masterpiece, but it's the first movie that comes to mind, but I couldn't watch that on my own, never mind with someone. There's a lot of movies that I'd be delighted to watch with my so. I've suggested quite a few that I'm certain she would like, but she just says no. I did suggest Gladiator a few weeks ago and she watched it and really enjoyed. All movies are on the table. If I can't enjoy it with my so, then who can I enjoy it with? Anyone who says I don't want her to see that or she wouldn't understand blah blah blah. Stop it. If you care because of some appeal to manliness, then be a actual fucking man. And don't give a shit. Crying during a movie has nothing to do with being a man. Not showing emotion because you care about what someone else thinks. That's the bitch move. As a women, WTF? We can't understand the end of a Ridley Scott movie? LMFAO. Primer. Mine has a limited tolerance for war movies. Patton comes to mind. Anything that involves violence toward animals. She can happily watch humans get brutally massacred all day but shoot a dog and the movie is ruined. For her, I like to enjoy movies with my wife. Not force her to sit next to me through them. So I'll be watching the Braveheart cavalry charge on my own, thank you very much. Probably just like a few 80s classics like Back to the Future, Karate Kid, Labyrinth, etc. Stuff that's nostalgic to me be just corny to him. Not exactly a masterpiece, but Warrior gets me for a whole load if family reasons. Blue is the warmest color. You like movies about gladiators? Have you ever been in a Turkish prison? I actually don't have any of these. My wife has watched LOTR extended trilogy, The Warriors, Amadeus, Shape of Water, and other favorites. And it's always been pleasant. Even if she doesn't quite love it as much as I do. How dare you? Our best general the world has ever seen was backstabbed repeatedly to the end in front of all of Rome. But he was going home to his family. Gladiator is a masterpiece. Her grandfather hung himself alone in his apartment. So I just ignore the movie Shawshank Redemption. Heat. Then one of the following two to end the night: Good Will Hunting or Whiplash. None of my exes understood, much less appreciated how inspirational those films are. So I got tired of seeing them on their phones, rolling eyes, or talking during the movies about something irrelevant. What about the scene where his extremely young child is trampled by the soldiers on horseback? Two Girls, One Cup. Anything Brazzers? My partner enjoys a lot of the stuff I do. Though when movies make me cry or feel very emotional, she doesn't understand. Like the opening scene of Saving Private Ryan. It makes the hairs on my arms stand every time. Just the sacrifices they made and how brave all those men were on D-Day. I believe it's just something us as men can relate to. Something in our natural instincts. I love LOTR to the point of obsession. I watch all of them, including The Hobbits 4x a year. My husband can't stand them but also doesn't understand the lore. His loss. I'll never stop watching them. Gettysburg. I don't think I would love a man more than to see him cry during the final scenes of Gladiator. I dragged everyone to that movie. I had the soundtrack and regularly cried to it. If I start to cry during the movie, my GF's love for me jumpies up 300. Don't be afraid to show it. You have to feel stuff and experience raw things. If you don't, they will manifest in grandly ways in other situations.